So this video is coming out in November. I was shooting for an October release, but I got sick a couple of weeks after coming back. I got caught up doing college homework, I wanted to play the new Sonic and Mario, and work has been a bit stressful throughout October. So I apologize for getting this out later than I anticipated, but here it is. So the way this video will work is that I will share my stories from my time down in Los Angeles, as well as the Sonic Symphony itself. I'll also break it up into chapters for your convenience. So if you just want to jump to the symphony, you may do that. I chose to make this video as I have been in Washington State for most of my life. I've been down to Oregon a few times with others, but that was it. This entire trip was big for me because I was going down to a new city in a new state alone. I heard these solo trips can be good for you anyway, so that's part of the reason why I did this. So without any further delays, let's hop right in. Immediately I hit a small snag with my planning. So after I purchased my ticket to the show, I waited a few weeks before getting my plane ticket. I don't have a license and the airport isn't near me, so that already creates a problem. Now my town has a service called Door to Door, and they will pick you up at your house and drive you to the airport. Sounds helpful, right? It is. But the soonest they can get you to the airport is 9:30 a.m. and I booked my flight for 6 a.m. I tried to change my flight time to accommodate, but I just couldn't. They gave me the option to do so, but clicking it would have them tell me I couldn't. So I booked my rockets for the day before my trip and made sure to get a hotel to stay in for the night. I was considering staying an extra day in LA anyway, but I thought that this was a good enough compromise. I also knew a 6 a.m. flight means I have to arrive at about 4 a.m., possibly sooner. But here's the thing. I'm an early bird. I work at 4 a.m. 3 days a week, and even on my off days, I'm up anywhere from 3 to 5 on average. Me waking up at 6 and beyond is rare, so I saw the entire ordeal as a challenge that I accepted. Now that is why this is day 0. I did leave home, suitcase in tow, but I wasn't in LA just yet. Now unfortunately the first leg of the adventure was the most boring. No offense to my driver, he did his job just fine. But I have been on that particular drive out of town going east so many times over the years. I used to go on car rides on this every other week, and could even share some stories on certain spots. I'm also just using random footage from my archives because I wanted to be respectful to my driver and my passenger who got on later. Plus all you would have seen were trees, and some more trees here and there. At least until I hit Bremerton. I mostly just chilled in the back and worked on my script the entire time while my driver and passenger chatted for the first few minutes that they got on. I was actually feeling drowsy before I hit Discovery Bay, let alone SeaTac, so that just meant that I could carry through with my plan. Get in, sleep, get up, go. All I really did once I got to the hotel was just set up some stuff around the room so I could get my shit done in the morning, watched an episode of Square-Eyed Jack, I highly recommend his videos by the way, and just went to bed, setting my alarm to 2:15 a.m. The first few minutes of my day were fine. I got up, reminded myself of where I was and what I was doing, and was able to prepare in about 40 or so minutes. Airport navigation was a bit confusing though, as I followed the signs to my gate, which told me to take a train, only to be told that I had to walk to my gate, not take the train. Essentially, I was led to a spot that told me I was going the wrong way. I made it to my gate roughly 57 minutes before my entry time, so I had time to kill to write this portion of the script, use the restroom, and just watch The Simpsons on my phone. In fact, that was the only thing I watched on my whole trip. My first plane ride ever was fine enough. I kind of wish that I had a window seat though, since nobody wanted to look outside, minus a few select spots on the flight. When I got to Los Angeles, I was in total shock. There was no sun, just overcast. I mean, I think it was a blessing since I had to ditch my sunscreen before boarding my plane, but I expected blue skies and hot temperatures, not what was essentially weather from my town. First thing I did after I went to my hotel was just walk around and look at the stars. I think the one that made me the happiest was Phil Hartman's, as he played my favorite character on The Simpsons who wasn't Homer Simpson, Lionel Hutz. As for the others, I made sure to snap most of the ones that caught my attention, whether or not I liked them was irrelevant. I have no fucking clue who John Goodman is, but they name-dropped him in one of the Simpsons episodes I watched on the plane, so who cares?
How'd you like to be played by John Goodman?
I didn't go through the entire thing, but I think I had my fill. My only regret is not finding Danny DeVito's star. I also made time to check out La La Land, and while I didn't take pictures, I did snag a few souvenirs for the funsies. After that, I went over to the Dolby Theater area to kind of familiarize myself with the location. I like this little lot, and the skies clearing up at this time helped the vibe too. I wanted to end the day by going bowling, but it looked like I had to make a reservation in advance, so I instead went over to the Hollywood Wax Museum. This place was actually really cool. Just seeing these wax sculptures, reading about them, and seeing the great accompanying sets for each one. They had an entire horror section too, but it was hard getting photos and videos for some of these due to the constant darkness. One thing I really wanted to show off was the set that had locked doors and a looping MP4 of zombies trying to get in, only to get shot to death by a shotgun. The effect was super cool, but a bit too noisy. I guess you can say it did its job a little too well. I think my favorite part was this nifty mirror room, which had tons of trippy lights, tons of mirrors that gave me more shots of everyone, and for being really trippy. I also noticed that they had a small description for The Rock, but he was nowhere to be seen. But hey, at least we had Chris Pratt. I swear, I just can't escape this guy, he's fucking everywhere now. I got out once it got dark, but thankfully Highland Avenue is pretty well lit at night. But I still wanted to be extra careful just walking back to the hotel. So that was day 1. LA made a weird first impression by being cloudy, but I was pretty comfortable walking down Hollywood alone both in daylight and at night. I booked a tour for the Hollywood homes, but I needed something to do prior. Honestly, the entire day was just killing time until the concert. I went back to the Dolby Theater area to get nice coffee, and to my complete and utter shock, I got to see Jun Sonoe early. This was at 10:39 a.m., and while it wasn't a proper introduction, I was right at the window at the Coffee Bean and Tea Leaf, with him being less than 10 feet away. It took me a second to comprehend what I was seeing, but when it hit me like a tank. I think I scared him off since I had my Sonic shirt and hat on. I left him alone since I didn't want to bug him at the time. I had a VIP meet and greet ticket. I was going to meet the guy later anyway. Besides, I didn't have anything for him to sign with me at the time. I wasn't planning on seeing anyone before the show, apart from other Sonic fans. Really, the entire spotting of Sonoe messed with me. I came to the theater for coffee and lunch, but could barely eat afterwards, let alone breathe. It started to rain once I got my lunch, so I stayed in my hotel until it was tour time. To tell you the truth, I sort of spaced on the tour. Not that it was bad, far from it, but I was incredibly nervous about the Sonic show, so I spent at least half of the tour taking deep breaths and trying to calm myself down. I was also a little afraid of losing my hat due to the winds and dropping my phone out of the tour bus. Try to realize that losing my cell phone would have meant that my entire vacation would be ruined since no phone would mean no concert since my phone was my ticket. As for what I could catch, I got this amazing view of the city, which had glimpses of Universal Studios, the drive through Beverly Hills, as well as Sunset Boulevard. I'm sorry if this portion felt lacking, but I simply couldn't focus on everything going on in the bus ride. Once that was done, I just had to wait for the concert. I arrived about 2 hours before the doors opened, and it was already packed. Johnny from Crush 40 popped out for a bit to yell at us to get us all hyped, Kellen Quinn showed up and did some autographs, and June left as fast as he appeared. That man was like a bullet, I tell ya. I saw some people lined up by the wall, along with someone in a black suit, identical to the ones behind the doors. I asked the individual in a suit if the guys by the wall were in line for the 8 p.m. show, and they told me, "No, but we're about to set the lines up, and if you go to where the pillars are, you can be the first in line if you want." I took that offer and got to be one of the first people inside. I went to the merch store to pick up a tote bag, a shirt, a hat, and a poster. Essentially everything but a sticker and a sweatshirt. Once I made my way to my seat, I just patiently waited for the show. Just seeing so many people inside made me really excited, and I enjoyed seeing the many cosplays. As for the show itself, it was phenomenal. 10 out of 10, S-tier material. A godly show that I loved every bit of. I've said it in my reviews, but it bears repeating. Sonic has one of the best track records with video game soundtracks ever, so the show is already guaranteed to have great songs. If you've seen the 30th anniversary livestream of the same show, the song lineup is about the same, though with some alterations here and there. The first half, or act as they put it, was made up of the standard level songs, all in the form of various medleys. I think the standout for me was the Sonic Adventure medley, which had orchestrated covers of the vocal tracks Believe in Myself and It Doesn't Matter. The second half in particular made me cry so much that I felt my tears hit my shirt. Hell, just thinking about it while I was writing this portion got me started. Act 2, on the other hand, was mostly vocal tracks, performed by Johnny and Jun Sonoe for all of the Crush 40 stuff. Kellen Quinn came on to sing both Breakthrough It All and Undefeatable from Sonic Frontiers. And Tomoya Otani came to play bass for songs like Endless Possibility, Reach for the Stars, as well as the Kellen Quinn tracks. And just seeing grown adults in the audience jumping up and down, playing air guitar, and singing and screaming the lyrics to these cheesy yet iconic tracks, and being part of the dumb fun just felt amazing. I skipped out on His World since the song is a bit too quick for me, but hearing everyone sing the chorus was, again, phenomenal. The song just hit a lot harder for me there than it ever did listening to it on YouTube or in 06. Thanks to Sonic Frontiers, as well as the IDW comics, the Paramount movies, and now this symphony, I'm no longer embarrassed that I'm a Sonic fan. I genuinely do not give a shit if you think this series sucks. Sonic the Hedgehog is a part of who I am as a person, and I never want that to change going forward. I've wanted to sing Live and Learn with a group of people for about 12 years, but never in that time would I have expected to do it with over 3,000 people. that's left is the VIP meet and greet itself. It was a fairly lengthy line of people that got a group photo with the special guests, as well as signed posters. I was a bit annoyed that I essentially bought a second poster since I didn't know I was getting the signed one for free with my ticket. But if the worst thing I can say about the concert was that I got a free autographed poster, I think you're doing something right. I'm grateful I got it. I really am grateful I got it. I got my group photo, and before I left, I asked Jun Sonoe to sign my copy of SA1 on Dreamcast. It's not my favorite Sonic game, but it pulled me through a very difficult time in my life, and because of that, the game holds an enormous amount of sentimental value that no other game ever will. It may not be the exact version that I played back then, but I bought this copy with money that I got from my mom after graduating from high school, so this version still holds a lot of value to me. The streets of Highland were packed that night, since I guess there was another concert somewhere else. But it was a lot safer than I anticipated, which was good because I think it was at 11:30 at night. Really the only danger was the people on electric scooters, and they were all coming from the front, so they were pretty easy to dodge. And that pretty much wraps up the main experience in Los Angeles. California made a great first impression overall, and while I could have done more, I sure as hell got to enjoy myself. I want to thank Sega for doing this event in the first place, Johnny for having so much energy that I would just kill for, Kellen Quinn for showing up, Sleeping with Sirens was on tour this month so I expected him to be a no-show, Tomoya Otani for joining us, the person that gave me the chance to be the first in line, and the rest of the orchestra for bringing these amazing songs to life. Lastly, I want to apologize to Jun Sonoe if I scared him at 10:39 in the morning on Saturday. The worst I would have done to you if you entered the coffee shop I was in was just say hi. I believe there is a time and place to bother musicians you love, and pre-show when you're just trying to get your coffee isn't a time for that. Also, thank you again for signing my copy of SA1. I'm sure you get this a lot, but it really did mean the world to me. Without SA1, I might not even be around at all, let alone be a Sonic fan. No, I promise I will never ask you for an autograph ever again. Also, one final shout out to the director, Shota Nakama. While I didn't interact with him much during the event, I think he's done an amazing job keeping everyone posted about details from the event. If you're at all interested in going to any Sonic Symphony in the future, he will deliver on the goods. Hashtag in Shota we trust. One last thing I want to say about LA is that I noticed that, generally speaking, people left me alone. I've had 4 people come up and chat with me in some way, and the only one that wanted anything was to know if I found Nicki Minaj's star. Everyone I spoke to was really nice, and I kind of regret not having longer chats with some of them. I have walked by a few bums with signs, and even some loonies talking to themselves and flailing their arms around, but none of them approached me in any way, shape, or form. Which was good, because in some cases I had to be on the sidewalk with them to get by. It was that or risk getting hit by a car. As for getting home, my Uber driver happened to be a big Sonic fan, so we had fun just chatting. Though I could just hear and feel my cords straining the whole time. I left my hotel 3 hours before my flight to beat traffic, and there were some minor delays at the airport. I couldn't figure out why, the announcer's accent was too thick. And while the shuttle ride home was long, we did get to stop for food. Speaking of food, I think my health took a big hit. Because I was so anxious about the show, I couldn't really eat too much. Just a few bites of food I liked made me want to puke, and I didn't really do a great job staying hydrated either. In fact, I lost 7 pounds down in California. I got home at about 7 p.m., and it took about 3 days for my vocal cords to heal, and after about a week, I figured out what I learned in LA. I don't like the town that I live in. I have tried getting out there and meeting new people, and it just never seems to work out these days. I've had people criticize me for my interests and hobbies, and it's just deflating being neglected just for who I am. My town is also lacking in young adults, it seems. At least ones that I can connect with and are clean. A lot of the ones I meet around here love their weed and nothing else, and I just don't want to try with them anymore. My trip made me realize that I need to move. Not to LA, just somewhere in my state where I belong. Where is that? I don't know. But all I know is that I could be happier. I just need to work on getting out. Sorry for ending on a note like that, but it was on my mind for all of October, and being 25, still living with my dad and not owning a vehicle was really taking its toll on me mentally. I guess it's just another thing I gotta work on around here. On a lighter note, I'll also be at the Sonic Symphony show in Seattle on January 5th. I got a front row seat, and I'm confident the show will be incredible. And I'm looking forward to seeing the many fans yet again. So I guess I'll just end the video here. Thanks for watching.